If you've been trying to build wealth the traditional way, you've probably been investing in your 401k, saving as much as you can, reducing your expenses, and then listening to all the internet gurus tell you exactly where to put your money. I'm not an internet guru. I'm just a regular guy that figured out how to make money in real estate. I started out by renting out my spare bedroom for $35 a night, and now I've got a portfolio of over $13 million in real estate. These are the 6 controversial takes that I have that nobody else is going to talk about. But these are things that I did that made it easier to build wealth and create financial freedom for myself. I want to make sure that you have access to everything that all the wealthy millionaires and billionaires have access to. There's so much information out on the internet about how to invest in real estate, what properties to buy, how to run your numbers, follow this path, invest in your 401k. Dave Ramsey wants you to pay cash for a house. Grant Cardone wants you to spend all your money on buying real estate every 6 months. Pace Morby says you don't need to get loans. But what I want to do is I want to actually help you create the life of financial freedom that you want. I want you to have options, and I want you to be able to get there as quickly and as easily as possible. And make sure to hit that like button and the subscribe button and share this with anybody else that's trying to reach financial freedom, quit their job, and create the life of their dreams. My first hot take is don't quit your job. Use it. The longer that you've been in your job and the longer that you stay in your job, the easier it is to go buy real estate. Most people are not going to go become full-time real estate investors and not have a job. Most people think that they have to quit their job and become a full-time real estate investor to become wealthy. I believe that most people should keep their job, increase their skills, increase their income, and use all that money from their job to go buy as much real estate as possible. Your job is your highest point of leverage that you have right now. You can use your job as leverage to go to the bank, get a regular loan, and go buy investment properties. Banks do not like it when you don't have a job. Banks love it when you have a job, especially one that you've been at year over year over year. So my recommendation is stay in your job, increase your skill set so you can increase your income, get promotions, leverage your job as much as possible. You're gonna have to change your mindset. I know you wanna quit your job and you're like, Kassidy, why are you telling me to keep my job? Because you need to look at your job as leverage to go become wealthy in real estate. Once you change your mindset and say, this job is actually what's gonna set me free from itself, by becoming a better employee, by increasing your skills, by getting promotions, by increasing your income, you take all of that money and you funnel it into buying real estate. Your mindset needs to be, this is a means to an end, and I love my job because it's allowing me to get wealthy much faster and much easier than if I quit my job and tried to become a full-time real estate professional. There will be a point at which you say, I don't need to work anymore, and that's the goal. But you want to have a stack of properties, a stack of equity, and generous cash flow coming in. Usually that's around the 3 to 5 year mark. Check out my other videos where I talk about when it's time to sell or refinance or trade up your portfolio. The second controversial take is you should cash out your 401k. I had $400,000 in my 401k and I cashed it out to go buy investment properties. I didn't cash it all out at once. I used it to buy one property at a time. And yes, I paid the penalty. So when you cash out your 401k, what you're doing is you're paying a 10% fee that you pay at tax time, and you're actually having to pay income tax on the money that you take out, unless you buy the right type of real estate. So you can cash out your 401k, you pay the 10%, but if you go use it to go buy real estate, then you can continue to build your wealth. I cashed out my 401k, I paid the penalty, but I was able to grow my portfolio. I bought 4 properties with my $400,000 in my 401k. And I only withdrew when I was going to buy the properties. I didn't withdraw it all at once. I took my $400,000 in my 401k and turned it into over $1 million in equity. So that 10% that I paid, that $40,000 that I paid in fees, means nothing compared to my $1 million in equity just from my 401k. Most people are not going to tell you to cash out your 401k. Most people are going to tell you it's way too risky, it's your nest egg, it's your security blanket, but they have never done it. They have never invested in real estate. They don't understand how much more money can be made by buying real estate with the money that's sitting in your 401k account. My third controversial take is that you should make less than $88,000 a year. When you get down to $88,000 or less on paper, you're essentially paying nothing in taxes. Just because it says $88,000 or less on paper doesn't mean that that's what you actually made. Through the right real estate investing, you can use write-offs and depreciation to make it look like you made less money legally. This is the incentives that the IRS gives you to go buy the right type of real estate. What it allows you to do is take the right types of write-offs and show that you're actually making less money on paper. This is what I've been able to do over the past 6 years of investing in real estate, is pay almost $0 in taxes every single year, but I've made more money than I've ever made in my life over the last 6 years. So I'm making way more money than I've ever made, and I'm paying zero to little in taxes legally, and this is what the government incentivizes you to do. The reason it's $88,000 is because that's what the IRS says is the limit before you have to start paying capital gains tax, and it keeps you in a lower tax bracket. When you start investing in real estate, you should have a CPA and talk to them specifically about this. Ask them how you can get your adjusted gross income down to $88,000 or less and see what they say. They should know what you're talking about. They should know how to invest in real estate. They should know how to take depreciation so that you can reduce your income. Many CPAs still believe that you're not able to take depreciation as a regular W-2 employee. I will tell you that's not true, and you need to go find the right CPA. My fourth controversial take is that your name should be an LLC. You should create a company that is you. It doesn't have to be your name LLC. It can be whatever you want it to be. But essentially, you need to create a company whose sole purpose is to take any extra income that you make outside of your regular job or real estate or anything, and all that money flows into that LLC, into a business bank account, and that LLC pays you a small wage every single month. Think of this like your personal brand or your personal company, and any extra money that you make all goes into that. And you take that with you for your entire life. And what that does is that allows you to show that you're growing your income over time from your side hustles or outside sources or consulting or whatever it is that you're using this for. But it's gonna show that you're gonna grow your income over time, and you run all of your expenses through this LLC that are related to what you do as business. I'm sure there's some CPAs and people at the IRS that are wincing as I'm talking about this right now, but if you are legitimately in the pursuit of profit and you're using your cell phone and you have a home office and you use utilities or travel or rental cars, whatever it is, you can run those expenses through that LLC as you're making money and paying yourself a wage. The reason I say pay yourself a wage through that LLC is because it actually helps reduce the amount of taxes that you have to pay. One from the write-offs, but also the other from self-employment taxes. That's a different video, but just know that the longer that you have a company that is generating money, the easier it is to get loans and show that you are good for lending. You want to look secure, you want to look like you make money, you want to look like you are responsible. And the way that you do that is you have a company that is as old as you are. The way that you do that is you have a company that makes money for as many years as possible. And the books look good, the records look good, and that can go with you throughout your entire life. There's a lot of benefits to having a history of you making money as an individual, even though it's through this company. This would be like a service-based company. Anything that you're doing where there's like a side hustle or you're invoicing people, you need to think of yourself as a business. For example, a lot of actors and actresses, when they get paid, they don't actually get paid as an individual, they get paid as a company. So Ryan Gosling, he gets paid as Ryan Gosling LLC. And then he has a company structure where he pays his assistant and he pays his drivers and he pays for travel expenses. All the money that you make should roll through this LLC. You should invoice people. You should have QuickBooks and keep good books. You should have a business bank account. And the longer that you have that, the easier and better it will be to lend to you over time. And you will reduce the amount of taxes that you have to pay because you are a business and you have expenses related to that business. So instead of getting an income, paying your taxes, and then with whatever's left over, paying for all of your necessary needs and travel and other expenses, what you're doing is you are getting your income, then you're paying for everything that you need first, and then you're paying taxes, and the tax rate will be lower than if you did everything the other way around. And your tax rate will be lower because your expenses are paid first. So you get to use more of your money first for the things that you need by creating a company that is you. And the longer that you own that company, the better it is for you to be able to go get lending, and you look professional because you have a company. you have contracts. So do this, get a business bank account and start that today. The fifth controversial take, and this is the biggest hack in real estate wealth building. I've talked about it before. This is the real estate professional status. This is where one spouse, or maybe it's you individually, but this is the hack with spouses, dual income, no kids. One spouse makes as much money as they possibly can. They are so focused on their W-2 job or their business or their self-employed. They are making as much money as humanly possible, and they don't care about real estate. Then the other spouse is a real estate professional. This is a status given by the IRS where you are a real estate professional in the eyes of the IRS because you have met certain criteria. This is only available to people that are actually like working in real estate full-time. This is realtors, but full-time realtors. You can't have a regular job. You cannot have a W-2 job. You can be like a property manager, you can be a broker, you can be a lender. If you are in the real estate business and you meet the criteria of the certain amount of hours that the IRS requires, you can be a real estate professional. The reason that this is important is because the spouse that is making the most money, that's off building and creating and generating a ton of money each year, the IRS does not allow them to take those paper losses. When I talked about getting your gross income down to $88,000 a year, the IRS does not allow anyone with a W-2 job to do this. You have to be a real estate professional to do this, or you can buy short-term rentals with the short-term rental loophole. Those are the only ways where you can offset your regular job's income and reduce your tax bill. That's through depreciation, cost segregation, and the only way that you can do that is if you are a real estate professional or if you buy short-term rentals through the short-term rental loophole. There are requirements that you have to meet, but this is the biggest hack. If you've got, so let me do some math for you. Let's say you have a spouse that's making 500 grand a year and the other spouse is at a job that's making 50 grand a year. You're like, well, I don't want to quit my 50 grand a year job. It gives me something to do, If you do the math, if you quit your $50,000 a year job and just became a full-time real estate professional and you bought one property, you could eliminate the entire tax bill from your spouse's $500,000 job. And that tax bill could be in the range of $100,000 to $250,000. So instead of generating $50,000 in income at your old job, by becoming a real estate professional, you create $100,000 to $250,000 of savings, which goes directly into your pocket in the form of a refund from the IRS. When you buy the right type of real estate and are a real estate professional. It's not always about the money that you make. A lot of times it's about the money that you keep. So you need to figure out if you can go leverage your time to be a real estate professional so that you can save a lot of money on taxes and go use that money to go buy more real estate. This is the ultimate hack for people that are married and one spouse makes a ton of money. My sixth controversial opinion is that cash flow is completely overrated and you should be focusing on equity and appreciation above anything else. There are 4 ways to make money on any given real estate project. The 4 ways are cash flow, appreciation, principal pay down on the mortgage, and tax benefits. On most real estate projects, the most amount of money is made from appreciation and tax benefits. When you add up all the money that's made on any given project, you make the most from appreciation and tax benefits. Cash flow is usually at the bottom, and the difference between cash flow and appreciation might be 5 or 10x. Yes, cash flow pays the bills. Yes, cash flow pays for expenses and repairs, and it keeps the asset alive. But real wealth is made through equity and appreciation and tax benefits. The sooner that you can buy real estate for equity and appreciation, the sooner that you will be able to create financial freedom for yourself. Having a lot of equity that you can tap allows you to create options for yourself. Yes, having cash flow to replace your corporate income is very important, but the sooner that you can get yourself to a place where you have more and more equity and increase your net worth, that's when options really present themselves. You can sell, you can refinance, you can cash out, you can have a pile of money in your bank account and still have cash flowing assets. That's what equity does for you. So I want you to shift your mindset away from cash flow into equity and appreciation investing. What that looks like is if you're investing in residential real estate, I want you to go find the best neighborhoods in your area, find the properties that need some fixing up, fix them up, turn them into a short-term rental, and you're gonna create cash flow and equity and appreciation. If you have regular jobs where you're making a good amount of money, you don't need the cash flow. You don't want the cash flow. You want the equity and appreciation, and you want the time savings. If you are keeping your jobs, you don't need cash flow. If you have a high-paying W-2 job, you do not need cash flow. You want equity and appreciation. Cash flow is the lowest form of real estate investing, but it does pay the bills. And my bonus controversial take is that 1031 exchanges are overrated and actually a trap and will make you make bad decisions about buying your next investment property. But I'll save that for another video. Those are my 6 controversial takes on real estate investing. Take them to heart, figure out the ones that work for you. Know that you need to be thinking long-term when you're investing in real estate, and that these will all help support your long-term goals. And all I want for you is to live the life of your dreams, be able to have options, be able to quit your job, and become really wealthy in real estate. All of us should be millionaires, and that's all that I want for you, is to live the life of your dreams. So please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I'm very interested in your journey, so follow me on Instagram. I'm at Kassidy.Warren. You can DM me. I want to hear about everything that you're doing to invest in real estate, how wealthy you're becoming, and please like and subscribe on this video, share with whoever needs to hear this, and I'll be back for more. Peace.